This is after the Second World War. At that time, there were many land scams in Japan. There was a team of fraudsters which included negotiators, informers, legal experts. They used to make fake deals by claiming to have fake documents and showing fake documents and looted crores from the customers. By the 90s, instead of decreasing, these scams gained momentum. Because the prices of real estate started skyrocketing at the same pace. To avoid these scams, necessary documents started getting digitized. Electronic chips started being used in IDs, etc., due to which it became difficult to create fake identities. Land scams became almost negligible. In such a situation, a dead Sada comes forward and starts committing scams again with the help of advanced technology. This is the story of one of those land mafias. The name of that land mafia is Harrison, who is currently out to fulfill his hobby of hunting. After roaming around in the forest for a long time, he got tired and started resting at a place. One of his companions went to relieve himself, and the next moment his screams were heard. When they went to see, a bear was tearing him apart. As soon as the bear saw them, it immediately ran towards them. Harrison did not panic at all and killed the bear in time. He got such a kick from this kill that he could not forget it. These are Takumi-san and Goto-san who are training this old man. Actually, these land mafias first find a person who resembles the real owner of the property. Then they make him remember the name, address, etc. of the real owner of the property. All the documents are prepared fake which exactly match the real documents, so that they can cheat the land buyer. Special care is also taken to ensure that the fingerprints do not come out properly on the documents, and Fevicol is applied on the fingers. After preparing everything, they left for the meeting. This deal is going to be done with a company called Mike Holmes. By the way, the property which they are going to sell, information about it was given by their group's informer Takashita. The informer of his team keeps finding out about such unclaimed properties. The price of this property located in Tokyo was around 100 crores. The name of the property owner was Shimazaki, who was admitted in the hospital due to illness. There was no caretaker of the house either, meaning they can start working on it. The very next moment they spread the news among the brokers of Shibuya Ebisu and Daikanyama that this property is going to be sold for only 100 crores. Then what? Calls from buyers started coming. Before the opportunity slipped out of hand, Mike Holmes' company finalized the deal. They were going to get the registry done next week, but before that they had to meet the property owner Shimazaki. On which they showed the property and made an excuse that he was unwell so he could not come. So that the buyer does not have even the slightest doubt, they had also changed the lock and put an old one. Meanwhile, another partner of his team, Reiko, had started looking for a lookalike of the property owner Shimazaki. An old man was found who was made to memorize Shimazaki's name, date of birth, etc. like a parrot. Harrison had 5 people in his group. Goto-san was a legal advisor, while Takumi-san was an expert in making fake documents. Apart from this, there was a hacker who uploaded these fake documents on the net. The responsibility of finding the unclaimed property was on Takashita, and finding and training the fake owner was on Reiko. After probing all the documents, Mike Holmes' lawyer started Shimazaki's identity verification. The chip etc. was installed in the driver's license in such a perfect manner that he did not have any doubt. All the documents were also available on the internet, so there was no question of fraud. Shimazaki told everything correctly, including the name, date of birth, etc. But when the lawyer showed him 2 photos of the property and asked him which of these houses was his, the fake Shimazaki was left speechless. Takumi-san took control of the situation. The next question was which supermarket in his area he goes to for shopping. Shimazaki had no answer. Before he could tell, Takumi-san secretly poured water on him. As soon as he got up to go to the washroom, Shimazaki told him that he buys goods from the Peacock store near his house. After the verification was complete and the documents were signed, 100 crore rupees were transferred to his bank account. Harrison had already fixed the money laundering, i.e., hawala etc. There was no problem in converting this black money into white. However, this time Reiko's work was very sloppy. If Takumi-san had not put wireless earbuds in that old man's ears on the pretext of going to the washroom and Harrison had not been guiding him, they would have been caught today. Harrison gave 15 crore rupees to each of them for this work. Now he was not getting kicks from these small jobs. He had to do something that would leave corpses in the streets. He had made up his mind to make such a big deal that no one could even imagine. In Takashida's eyes, there was a property of this type whose value was 1,000 crore rupees. This plot of 3,200 square meters was right next to Kwanji Temple. Its owner was the daughter of the temple priest, but it was heard that the priestess did not want to sell her land at any cost. Whatever it was, they had liked this plot. Here, the old man who had become a fake Shimazaki was crushed to death by a truck. Obviously, this was Harrison's work. A week later, Mike Holmes' company also came to know that they had been defrauded. A proper police complaint was made against those land mafias, after which Detective Tatsu-san was put on the job. Tatsu-san showed the photographs of some land mafias to the employees of Mike Holmes. As soon as they saw Harrison, they recognized him. These were the people who duped them. By the way, according to police records, Harrison has been doing this work since the 80s. He has also served a 5-year sentence for all these frauds. As far as their money is concerned, by now their money must have been transferred to some foreign account. From there, through Hawala, it must have reached the accounts of land mafias. What I mean to say is that they are not going to get their 100 crores. On this, the development manager of Mike Holmes started crying and beating his head. Because 100 crore rupees is not a small amount. By the time the police came into action, Harrison and his men had left Tokyo. With time, when the Mike Holmes case cooled down, they returned to Tokyo again. Now their target was the plot of priestess Natsumi Kawai. The priestess was a middle-aged woman of 45 years and that temple was her home. 5 years ago, the priestess's husband ran away with a woman from the temple. Natsumi Kawai's father could not tolerate this humiliation and died. After this incident, the priestess also started keeping aloof from everyone. That means, Kawai is completely alone in present. After this, everyone started doing their work. Like Godo-san will spread the news in the underworld that this land is for sale. Reiko will have to find a lookalike of the landowner, etc. But Takashida was not happy with the previous 15 crores, he demanded more money from Harrison for this work. Harrison agreed because he did not want any trouble in the team. From the next morning, he started keeping an eye on Kawai. This is Orochi-san who takes care of outside work etc. From here the story goes into flashback. It is the year 2011. Troubled by some reason, Takumi-san's father set fire to the house, in which Takumi-san's mother, wife and son died in the fire. After everything was destroyed, Takumi-san started the work of pick and drop of high society call girls to earn his livelihood. The name of this call girl with him is Sake. After dropping Sake to the client, Takumi-san was waiting for her to return when the client called from Saki's mobile. Actually, something had gone wrong. After going there, it was found out that Sake was dead. The client was doing something by tying a belt around her neck due to which her breathing stopped. By the way, this client was very rich who gave 4 lakh rupees to Takumi-san to keep his mouth shut and to make a fabricated story of Saki's disappearance. A separate person was called to dispose of the rest of the corpse etc. Takumi-san had 2 options, either he should take money and spread a false rumor of Saki's disappearance or his condition will be the same as Saki's. Putting aside the money, he started giving CPR to Sake. After struggling for a long time, she regained her breath. Seeing the client in front of her, her anger reached the 7th sky. Takumi-san tried to convince her by giving her all the money but she was not going to agree. This is where Takumi-san and Harrison met. Harrison also offered her to work with him. It had been a week since they had been keeping an eye on Kawai in the Pargant. But she did not go out of the temple at all. Her daily routine was to get up at 5 in the morning and chant, then sweep and water the plants. In these 7 days, she did not go out even for an hour. Amidst all this, Orochi-san saw someone coming out of the temple. It was the priestess who was going somewhere in dim dam wearing a wig. He immediately started following her car. After traveling for some time, Kawai reached a luxury hotel. While following her, Takumi-san also found out the room in which she entered. The very next moment Takumi-san booked the room next to hers. Then he used some tricks and started listening to the sounds inside that room. It was found that Kawai had some other hobbies. Not 1 but 5 men were with her. Takumi-san understood the matter from their voices. Seeing the opportunity, he put a camera on the room service trolley so that the priestess's activities were in front of him. Meaning that once a week she goes out of the temple to fulfill her hobbies. Meanwhile, he can carry out his work. Meanwhile, his eyes fell on the person present in the video who was sitting quietly in solitude. Takumi-san had also found out about him. That man was the host of this sex group whose name was Cade. Meaning that if they target Cade, then they can call the priestess out whenever they want and do their work. Like showing the land to the client, etc. Takashita's demands were increasing day by day. He was seen blowing stuff every time. Meaning he was a big drug addict. This time he started demanding a share of 300 crore rupees for this work. Harrison had to get the job done at any cost, so he agreed to all his demands. Godo-san had also spread the rumor of the property being sold among the brokers. But till now no buyer has come forward, because buying a property worth this much is not a matter of a small company. Well, someone will definitely fall in the trap, they just have to wait. On the other hand, Detective Tatsu-san reached the jail to meet Takumi-san's father. Actually, he wanted to know about the person who had committed a land fraud with him. As far as Takumi-san's father remembers, he had met those fraudsters through his son Takumi-san. He had a small real estate company. For him, that 3,000 square feet land near the railway station was a great opportunity. It was also available cheap, but how could he have known that he was being defrauded? If seen, it was all Takumi-san's fault. He was the one who got the deal done. Takumi-san's father lost his temper due to tension, and he held Takumi-san's collar and said that no matter how many days, months or years it takes, he has to find that land mafia gang. Due to this fraud, they became bankrupt. They could not think of anything except dying. Then what happened was that they sprinkled oil and set themselves on fire. They were supposed to die, but they survived and their family perished in that fire. Through this meeting, they had come to know the current location of Takumi-san. But his father did not know anything about him. Detective Tatsu-san could not find anything. Here we see Takumi-san who reached the den of his hacker friend Nagai. Actually, he had to get prosthetic makeup done. Well, Nagai was a hacker and he also knew how to do prosthetic makeup. He changed Takumi-san's entire appearance. With a burnt face, he reached Cade's club for work. He told that he is a big fan of Cade-san and has been inspired by him. He wants to become like him. Meaning, he knew all the skills like flattery, etc. Using all the means, he managed to get a job in a legitimate club. His name on the documents was Sujisawa Kenro. This means that these land mafias took special care to ensure that his real identity was not revealed. On the other hand, Godo-san met his old friend Tuntun. He told him that he had to sell a property worth 1,000 rupees, but he was unable to find a buyer. Fraud in a property worth 1,000 rupees was not going to be as easy as cheating Mike Holmes. No big company would buy such a big property through a small broker. If they were to be trapped, the company selling the land should also be a reputed one. Only then could the big fish be trapped. The company would be arranged, but Tuntun asked for a fee of 3 crore rupees. When this was discussed with Harrison, he agreed to give 3 crore rupees to Godosa's friend. Godosa immediately called Tuntun and told him that his money was ready. He just needed to start the work. But he was even faster than them. Along with arranging the company, he had also spoken to the company's president Abiru. The name of that company was Abiru Holdings. He had many businesses like real estate business, resort development, apparel. So the plan was that by becoming a broker, he will sell the land to Abiru Holdings for 1,000 crore rupees. And the company buying it will sell it for 1,100 crore rupees. This means that Abiru Holdings will make a profit of 100 crore rupees in this deal. But one thing should be kept in mind, that Abiru Holdings should not know that this is a scam. Everything should be done in a genuine way. The work of taking the remaining property owner Kawai out of Tokyo will be of use to them. Because the priest is madly in love with him, they will get this work done through him only. There was no information about his partner Takashita, nor did he come to take his 300 crore rupees. By the way, now his work was over, so Harrison did not care about him at all. Everyone knew that he must be lying somewhere stashing stuff. Today, after a week, Kawai came to the club again. Cade had promised her that tonight only the two of them would be together. But at the last moment, he brought Takumi-san into the picture. He said that after just a few more days he would accept her completely. Anyway, on the other side of this, Godo-san and his friend Tuntun met the owner of Abiru Holdings. After explaining the details of the property, he told him that Abiru Holdings will earn a profit of 100 crores in this deal. Then the deal was finalized. As soon as the deal was finalized, Godo-san gave 3 crores to Tuntun as per the deal between them. But he could not use this money. That very night Harrison got him killed. He used to watch all this live because he got a kick out of it. Here, after meeting Kawai, Takumi-san went out to drop his boss Kade-sa home like every day. Kade-sa had some work on the way, so he got busy. On a signal from Takumi-san, Orochi-san and his punters entered the motel and beat him up. Takumi-san made him understand very well that if he wanted to stay alive, he would have to obey them. Kade-sa was also in a fix. Finally, he agreed to obey them. On the other side, we see the board meeting of Sekio House Company. One of their projects was ready and they had got land in Tokyo. But at the last moment, the owner of the land got divorced from his wife due to some dispute, due to which half of the property was transferred to his wife's name. Hence the matter got stuck. Now they needed land immediately. The maximum pressure was on the head of the company's development division, Mr. Aoyagi. He somehow assured the board that he would find another land within a month. Then what? All of Aoyagi's punters got to work. After a lot of investigation, they finally found a property. The property which was being sold under Abiru Holdings. They quickly fixed a meeting. The meeting was after 5 days. In this gap, Takumi-san started the work of making fake documents. Hacker Nagai used to update these fake documents on government sites, so that if the client scans the ID etc., then they do not have any doubt. Meanwhile, the police had got the news of Tuntun's death. Even after a lot of investigation, the forensic people could not find anything. It seemed as if nothing had happened here. Everything from the floor to everything was shining, from which it was clear that cleaning etc. must have been done after the murder. Then Tatsu-san got a clue written in code words, which he took a photo of. It took him a lot of time to understand this code word. Finally he came to know that there was a meeting at the office of Abiru Holdings on Thursday, the 2nd, at 8 o'clock. This person reached there at 7 in the morning and camped in the cafe in front. As soon as it was 8, people from Sekio House Company arrived. After some time, Godo-san and Takumi-san were also seen. Both of them were involved in the Mike Holmes fraud case. Tatsu-san knew that the case was also under him. In no time, both of them came and sat on the table behind Tatsu-san. Although the time for the meeting had come, but Takumi-san wanted to make the other party more restless so that he could make a fool of them. Then Godo-san showed the news of Tatsun's murder. He suspected Harrison to be the one who got Tatsun killed. Takashita is also missing. It is not known whether he is alive or dead. The previous fake landlord was also killed. This means that they have to be careful of Harrison. He is getting his own people killed who worked with him. Anyway, Godo-san has earned a lot of money. After this deal, he is going to retire and spend time with his family. He just had to warn Takumi-san that Harrison is not trustworthy. After this, they went to attend the meeting. As soon as they went, Tatsu-san came out and 3 men kidnapped him. Both the parties started getting acquainted. Godo-san is the legal employee and financial advisor of Priestess Natsumi Kawai. His name is Jinai. Takumi-san introduced himself as De and he handles Kawai's assets. The landlord is not present in the meeting, so how will the deal happen? Because she was about to come to this meeting. His old excuse was that he was not feeling well. However, he had left the responsibility of the property deal to them, so there was no problem. Then the money was discussed and finally the deal was finalized at 120 crore rupees. The documents etc. were also checked. Everything was clean and neat. Then Aoyagi warned that this was just a small discussion. The deal would be confirmed only when they talk face to face with the landowner. That meeting should also be held in their temple. What problem did they have? They agreed. On the other hand, after kidnapping Tatsu-san, Harrison wrote a suicide note in his pocket and pushed him off the building. Harrison had an informant among the police. He had informed about Tatsu-san, that he had reached their custody. Now they just had to send Kawai out of Tokyo somehow. As for the locks and keys of the temple, one of their men, Orochi-san, had already got a job in the temple. He will arrange for the locks and keys. They also met Sam and explained to him that tomorrow morning he has to take Kawai to Okinawa for a 3-day tour. One of their men will keep a constant watch on the rules, so that if anything goes wrong, he will deal with Cade right there. Kawai agreed to go to Okinawa with him because she was waiting for this day for a long time. The next day, the head of Sekio House went to inspect the land, after which the company also gave approval to buy this land. Meanwhile, Kawai and Cade had reached Okinawa. Then a person came to pick them up. Before that, Takumi-san had sent him to give something to Cade in private. To get it, he went towards the bathroom. It was revealed that this person was Takashita, the same Harrison's informer who had demanded 300 crores from him. He took Cade to the bathroom and killed him. Then he made a video and started threatening Kawai that if she did not return to Tokyo, then she would also have the same fate as Cade. He also gave her the flight ticket, with which Kawai boarded the flight to Tokyo out of fear. Here the Aoyagi team had already received approval from the company to buy the land. Today at 12 noon, the identity verification of the landowner was also to be done. On the other hand, even after a lot of efforts, when Kawai's perfect lookalike was not found, they dressed up Reiko in Kawai's disguise. Then they got the news that the real Kawai has boarded a flight to return to Tokyo. It will take her 2 hours to reach Tokyo and 40 minutes to reach the temple from the airport. That means, when they will be at the temple after the identity verification with Sekio House, it is possible that the real Kawai will drop in. That is why they will have to finish the meeting as soon as possible in less time. On one hand, Natsumi Kawai's identity verification started, on the other hand, Harrison had caught Takashita. He did not show any mercy on him and crushed his skull with his shoes. The notary of Sekio House was checking everything very carefully. After everything was found to be correct, Kawai told everything, name, address, date of birth, zodiac sign, but got stuck on one question. Actually the question was that in which year was the Kwanji temple built, of which she is a priestess. Seeing the matter getting complicated, Godo-san got upset and started asking them to tell in which year the Sekio house for which you work was built. And when was the notary law firm established? When he does not know about his company, his law firm, then how would Natsumi Kawai know about the establishment of such an ancient temple? Amidst all this debate, Takumi-san secretly showed the answer on his mobile and the matter was settled. But the danger was not over yet. Kawai had landed at Tokyo airport. Orochi-san was right behind him. While kidnapping and chasing him, he had a major accident. He got a little injured but he survived safely. Now they had only 40 minutes to show the temple. Quickly they took them to the temple. After roaming around for a long time, to make everything look real, the fake Kawai took them to the secret room where common people were not allowed to go. 5 ancient statues of Buddha were installed here, information about the specialities of which she had already prepared. After seeing all this, Aoyagi had no doubts of any kind. After checking everything, as soon as he came out of the temple, Kawai had come in front of him. He could not even lock the main gate and left. When Kawai reached with the key, she was surprised to see the lock open. Reiko was also stuck there. Meanwhile, the exchange of documents was also done. The application for land registration was also accepted by the registrar. As soon as the deal was completed, after giving a brokerage of 100 crores to Abiru Holdings, they got the remaining check of 1,009 crores. That means the deal was complete. Now all that was left was to do the hawala of this money, which was Harrison's responsibility. After finishing all the work, Takumi-san left for home. There was someone who was following him. While following Takumi-san, she reached his place. She knocked on the door but Takumi-san did not even utter a word. Therefore, she kept telling from outside that she was Detective Karamuchi. The land mafia who had defrauded your family has been found. Actually, Detective Tatsu-san and Karamuchi were working together on that case. Recently, Tatsu-san received a call from an informer that he had found the land mafia. He is hiding in a detention center in the Philippines to save his life from a land mafia named Harrison. During an interview there, he exposed all the secrets of Harrison. Like, after doing land fraud, he gets the people associated with him killed. Both of them were partners. When there was a dispute between them regarding money, Harrison cut his fingers. There is no mercy in him. He keeps making videos even while killing people. The one who defrauded Takumi-san is none other than Harrison and his partner Seiki. She left after keeping some proofs. She also warned that Harrison can get her killed at any time. As soon as she saw Seiki with Harrison, she understood the whole game. Still, what could she do? Meanwhile, their land buying party was going on separately. What will be their condition that day when the registrar will reject their application? Well, 1 week passed by. This time they had made a big hit. Nagai packed his bags before the police could find out about this incident. On the other hand, when Kawai went out to sweep, she saw that some people were gathering on their property. On talking to them, it was found that they were going to break the parking. Then what? Kawai called the police. Aoyagi also came to know that Kawai was stopping him from working. Meanwhile, a guy came running and told that the registrar has rejected the ownership transfer application of their land. Aoyagi immediately rushed to the spot. He became completely numb after seeing the real Natsumi Kawai. And why not? After all, it was a matter of 1100 crores. If I was here, I would have really fainted. What would have happened to you? Tell us in the comment. Aoyagi's condition became such that the poor guy came under the bus. The bus ran over him and went away. Sam met Takumi-san Harrison because he was going to leave the country the next morning. Before that, Takumi-san started demanding answers as to what happened to Reiko and Goto-san who had killed Takashita. Actually, Harrison had killed them too. Takumi-san has come to know his reality and also that his father was also framed by Seiki and Harrison. Due to which his mother, wife and son died. Now it is Harrison's turn to die. Saying this, he pointed a gun at him. Meanwhile, Orochi-san stabbed him in the stomach from behind. Actually, just a while back he had come to Harrison with a recommendation to become a land mafia. For this he had to prove his ability first, which he is doing. Before he could kill Takumi-san, Harrison shot him. When there was no bullet left in the revolver, Harrison got the chance. The very next moment he pounced on him. Meanwhile, Detective Karamuchi also arrived. Seeing the opportunity, Harrison threw a grenade and disappeared. Both of them got badly injured in that explosion. Finally, Takumi-san revealed this scam in his statement. The owner of Abiru Holdings was caught. 100 crore rupees were also recovered. But 1,000 crore rupees could not be traced. On the other hand, we see Harrison who is hunting. That means he is still alive. No one knows where and in which country he is.